Welcome everybody to Profit HQ webinar series, and I would like to present to you today a very important topic of what we titled Leadership in the Coronavirus, COVID-19. In today's economic times and times of uncertainty in our health and business, we felt it was very appropriate to document our feelings and our thoughts and our findings, working with so many companies out there to help the business owner deal with through these such highly uncertain times. Well, by way of introduction, that this is an unprecedented crisis we're dealing with, so that there are no manuals or textbooks on how to deal with it. So everybody's learning to be critical of others, how they are or aren't handling it. It's just not the case. The case is it's unprecedented and haven't dealt with it before. So in hindsight, people look back and go, was handled well, handled badly, what could have been handled better? But we're not dealing with everyone knowing exactly how to handle it. We're in a health situation, we have a pandemic, and there's plenty of information out there, news coming through, government guidelines on how to handle it outside of it. We're not going to touch that. I'm not going to talk about that today. What we're here to talk about is as a business owner, if you haven't been through anything like this, here's a bit of a guideline of things that you should be looking at and doing, or in consideration. So it's here as our contribution to try to help our clients and others deal with this unprecedented situation. There's no doubt the health situation will be over at a point in time, and China's already showing, in fact, in the Hubei province where it all started, the last couple of days have had no new cases. So the health situation will pass, but the financial and economic ramifications will be enormous and felt for some time. So again, this is what is going to be the focus of this presentation. Again, what are the likely scenarios? I think where we're at right now, yes, it's changing on a daily basis, but I believe there's two likely scenarios. Scenario one is that the government may call for a lockdown, which has happened in other countries, other parts of the world. So it is real. It's a real scenario. So my view is that if going to lockdown, how are you going to handle it? How well are you structured? How well are you prepared for a lockdown? The other most likely scenario is the government will take a longer term view, which is where they're at the moment. So they are taking a longer term view, like you've seen what's happening in terms of closing the borders with the airlines. Well, that's happening for 6 months, not 30 days, not 60, 6 months. So if you're in the travel industry or the airline industry, it's got catastrophic ramifications. So again, we look at it, the two likely scenarios. At the moment, it's definitely the government's taking a longer term view. So if you think it's going to be over in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's just not going to be the case. So you better be looking and preparing for a long haul with this. And the other viewpoint in terms of introduction is you've got to take action, and action now. It's not something you can sit back and go, oh, in a month's time, when you've burned through, you've made losses for 3 months or 2 months or 3 months, I better do something about it. Once you've burned through your cash, it's just going to be too late. So again, hope what we put in this webinar will provide you some information. And it's not all doom and gloom. Yes, we've got to deal with the ramifications, decisions you have to make now, but there are a lot of upsides. I'm going to spend a bit of time talking about the upside opportunities as well. So what are the objectives? You as a business owner and a leader in your business, is 3 clear objectives from my viewpoint. First of all, one is survival. You've got to ensure survival. Survival is your first priority. And look, and mind you, this is not overriding the health and safety. We're just assuming for this rest of this webinar that the health and safety side is under control and you're complying with the guideline. So now it's about business survival. So number 2 is to come out the other side stronger, is to come out of this stronger than what you went in. To me, that's imperative here. The weak will disappear or will be so badly devastated by this that they just won't recover. So you've got to come out, you've got to take the view yes, we've got to deal with survival, but number two, we want to come up the other side stronger. Number three, capitalising on opportunities arise, because they will be there, and companies are doing that. Awareness, keep informed. Is your first job is to be fully aware of what's going on, and you keep fully informed through media, networking, advisors, conversations, webinars, the government guidelines, emails, web. So if you're not aware, you can't take the right information. So another important one there is that how aware are you of your own business performance? How aware are you of the cash position of the business, the bank balance? Do you monitor it daily, weekly? If you don't, you better start doing it quickly. Be alert but not alarmed. Panic will not help you, your team, or your customers. Decisive action will need to be taken. It's not a time for, I'll get back to everyone in a month and then we'll have a look at it then. You've got to take action. You've got to take action now. And be ready to take those tough decisions when and if required, and quickly. So you've got to do your thinking, you've got to do your homework, you've got to do your planning, and when you're ready to move, you've got to move. But also be calm and considerate. Remember, look, a little technique a lot of people use is just, if you feel a bit overwhelmed, it's just stop, take a bit of time, take some deep breaths. There is a solution. There is a solution that may not be that obvious, but you know what? You take a bit of calm consideration of things, is that the answers will come to you. Or it might be making a phone call to someone like myself, or somebody, just go, I'm not sure what to do. What are your thoughts? But there is always a solution. So be calm. And remember, if you get overwhelmed, take a few deep breaths. Cash, cash, cash. I've got to say, sorry, but you've got to protect cash. You got to monitor it daily and protect it, because once you run over cash, there is no way of coming back. So cash is king. Look, it's an old adage, an old expression, but it's true. And these tough environment, you can't afford to run out your cash reserves or the cash that you have in the business. So cut costs, remove waste. And waste are costs in a business that if you remove would never be put back. If you're paying too much for something, that's waste. Because once you get it back to a realistic price you're paying for something, it won't go up again in the future. So there's a lot of waste in business. So it's a really good time for people to look at starting to get rid of that waste in the business. So where possible, cut costs, don't expend, control expenditure. Collect your debtors. First thing you'll see here is that debtors collection gets hard and goes out. So you've got to devote your time, or someone in your business, to the collection of debtors. Involve your employees. They're looking for leadership, and they're looking at leadership from you. Involve them. Ask for their help. What do employees think we could save costs? They'll know. So I say, please don't isolate your employees from you. Involve them in what you do. Let them feel a bit of your pain and your suffering. Let them get involved. Let them contribute. Let them be an active participant of it, and not just an observer. Another company is overclaim. Overclaim on your jobs where possible. Reduce your works in progress. Liquidate stocks. If you've got an opportunity to get rid of stocks at a cheaper price, convert your stocks into cash. There's a whole range of government subsidies coming out now. Be aware of them, find out about them, apply for them. It's a one-off opportunity. So please, whatever you can, use whatever tools are available to help you get through this tough period. And what are additional sources of cash have you got? Have you got your own cash reserves? Have you got family that might help you put some money? Is there maybe some bank facilities you can extend or upgrade or add? So whatever it is, please, looking, making sure you've got enough cash to get through to the other side of this. Profitability. Don't make sure when you're looking at your cash position, you also look at your profitability. You've got to ensure you're not running at huge losses or significant losses that can't be managed to drain your cash reserves. Most important thing, your employees. So I say to you, you've got to look after the health and safety of your people, yourself, look after your cash, then it comes back to your most critical asset, your employees. And you want them with you to come out the other side. So the safety must come first. And so whatever decisions you make in terms of working from home, standing down people, whatever you do, stopping visitors come in, whatever you need to do to make sure you're doing your best in terms of safety of people. More important thing to me is an opportunity for leaders to step up. Business owners, as business owners, you are leaders. So it's an opportunity for you to step up in terms of your leadership skills. And two most important things for me are empathy and authenticity. Is that let them see who you are. If you're a caring person, show them you're caring. Be empathetic to their situation, and so that they can also communicate that they can be empathetic to yours. It's going to show through, and it's really how you come out of this will define your leadership style for the future and the respect you have from your people. So again, look at the options. What are the options with your people? Yeah, work from home. There is stand down provisions under the Fair Work Act. So please, where you can't provide meaningful employment for people because sales are stopped, you can't get stopped, or whatever circumstances, the stand down provisions are there. That's what they're there for. So be aware of them. If you want to know more about it, please let us know, and we'll happy to provide you what information we've been giving on a regular basis. But there are stand down provisions. Option, give people the option. You can't force them. Give them the option to take annual leave, sick leave, and whatever entitlements they have. Because under stand down, people don't get paid. Your workers do not get paid under stand down provisions. And there's nothing they can do about it or action that can be taken against you. But if they want to take legal entitlements, you cannot deny that. Another option, which I think we'll see a lot more of personally, is reduced hours. So instead of companies making some of their people redundant, try to get through with saying, cutting people back to 4 days a week or 3 days a week or even 2 days a week so that everybody's got some employment rather than some sacrificial people being made redundant to cut the overheads or cut costs. So please think about that one and see if you can get your support of your employees. But I'm sure every one of your employees would rather see everybody get some money than somebody to go totally without. Now, a big thing for me when you're looking at decisions for your business is what can you afford to do? Can you afford to people send home and pay them on full salary for 3 months? I don't know many businesses that could. So you can have a look at overarching, and don't get me wrong, some businesses could do that, but can you afford to do it? And don't forget your core values and the culture. Underneath it all, this links with your authenticity and your empathy. Is it what core values and behaviours do you want to uphold in this? So all in all, what's right for your business? So what's right for you is not necessarily going to be right for somebody else. What I've done here is given a sample plan of what it could look like relative to the two scenarios that I talked about very early in the introduction. First of all, what about a lockdown? Could be 30 days, could be 60 days. So staff, in a 30-day lockdown, you'd use a stand-down provision, use of entitlements and hardship arrangement with any individuals that just can't survive with no money. So, there comes but the empathy, understanding aspect. So very much on a short-term lockdown, stand-down provisions would be used for sure. Protect your cash, debtors collection. If necessary, you got to hold payments. If you're locked down for 30 days, well, you won't have to, you won't get money in for 30 days, so you got to hold payments for 30 days. Hold all expenditure, cut all expenditure you can, non-essential. Apply for government assistance. They're there and they're being rolled out on a daily basis, so keep fully aware of them, make application. Big one for me is communication. Communication, if you're in a lockdown situation, communicate with employees on a daily, weekly basis, minimum, text, call, email, just to say, hi, we're here, how's everything going? Can I help? Just be there. Be that understanding, empathetic leader, but communicate. It's very scary times for people, and they're going to look to the leadership, going to look to their business owners and their bosses for leadership, which a big part of that, of leadership is, is communication. So what about if this is on long-term restrictions? So at the moment, that's the approach to the federal government. So this is more likely at the moment where strategies are going to come from. First of all, revise the sales forecast. Every forecast I'm seeing, sales are down anywhere from 20%, 30% to 50%. So revise your sales forecast and also forecast your margins. Then throw that in to a forecast profit and loss and see what the financial implications of that downturn are. It'll be very quickly you're seeing in front of you significant losses. Well, you can't have that. This will chew into your cash reserves. So what you've got to then look at is you've got to look at the decisions necessary to get that situation back to at least a break even. So in protecting the cash we talked about, the debtors collection, hold payments, hold expenditure, redundancies. This is where long-term redundancies may have to look at redundancies as part of this package, part of this strategy. Also, a big one that will come to play in this longer term view is reduced hours. So trying to keep as many people employed as possible, but sharing the income. And we get an opportunity to renegotiate, say, rental agreements with the landlord, going, look, we can't afford to pay the rent in this period of time, but we can pay half the rent or something. Get an opportunity to renegotiate for a period of time. Use every bit of tool that you can to try to get the business back in balance so it doesn't chew through all your cash. Because you're going to need the cash to come out the other side. Again, apply for government assistance. Again, reiteration, similar communication, daily, weekly text. One we use a lot with people is the daily huddles. Just get with the people briefly, 5-minute update, what's happening, good news, good news, won a contract, and then any bad news that might have come out about further restrictions or whatever. Also, don't hesitate to use email to communicate with your people. And also, long term, you may very well need to find some additional funding. So if that's the case, get on it now. Seek some help. Get your application in with the banks. With supportive and P&L forecast. The banks are going to have to be very understanding in this environment for sure. Again, I've talked about quite a bit already. Communication. Continue open, authentic discussions. Again, we talked about communication daily, and even use video. Just doing like I'm doing now. I mean, this might go 40 minutes, but you can just do a video on your phone, 5 minutes. Hey, thinking of you. This is an update. What's going on? Again, video will help build your authenticity as in terms of a leader. What's your style? Keep it brief. Over communicate. Bad news, then good news. Don't procrastinate. Just do it. Your people and your customers will be looking for those decisions. They'll be looking, how good a leader are you and what decisions are you going to make? Show leadership. This whole thing, this webinar is about your leadership and what you're going to do and how you're going to build your leadership profile out of this situation. Customer community support. I think you'll find us go into very quickly now. We've just been through the selfish, greedy exploitation phase of a number of people. But I think what we move now is a community working together to get through this. A bit like you saw what happened rallied around the bushfire. This community support is amazing. Same way you need to take a view with your customers. Are your customers okay? Can you help them in some way? Just going over and above to provide that support mechanism. So what are suggestions of what you could do better or different or one-off to help your customers? And an important point that was made to me is the significant mental therapy from helping others. So when you've got a crisis on your hands, you've got a down situation, is helping others can make you feel good about yourself and you help someone else feel good. Please don't underestimate the power of that. Compliance, you've got your compliance obligations, you've got your legal obligations, what you have to do. You need to check your insurances. Trust me, there'll be a lot of your policies will have escape clauses. So check your insurance. Like there are travel policies that got pandemic clauses, so people aren't necessarily able to claim on a number of insurance policies. And of course, you've got your overriding OH&S obligations. A couple of points for me, having been through not the same as this, but some of catastrophic things in my past in business. You cannot get through without making significant effort and extraordinary effort at times. I wouldn't even mention how many hours I worked in the past in crises. You've got to put that effort in. And the other point I've got to make, you've got to make sacrifices. So getting through this, you won't be able to do it, and you can't do it without putting extra effort and make the sacrifices. And also, as a leader, your attitude. Is it your attitude will rub across on your employees and how you feel. If you feel down about things, I try every day to send some people some funny joke I've been sent or something, or make a bit of a wisecrack. At the end of the day, if I can put a bit of a smile on someone's face in adversity, honestly, it goes a long way. And a few people have thanked me for doing that. Even though, it's sure got a pretty sick sense of humour, but never mind. Some people have appreciated it in these times. Profitability, as we've talked a little about already in terms of protecting your cash, is revise your sales budgets, the sales forecast. Have you done that? Have you looked at, forget your budgets as you had them 12 months ago? What you got to do now is go, okay, where your year to date is, say to the end of January, maybe February for a lot of people now, but then watch your revise and look at your sales forecast on a downward, be realistic, be conservative. What's your sales forecast going forward here now? It'll look very different to what your budget says. Then protect your margins, project your margins. You don't just ridiculous give away margins, give work. That'll just compound things. And when you know what your new sales level are, you're gonna have to cut overhead to match the new sales level. Forget overheads regarding your budget. You've got to cut your overheads to suit the new environment you're working in. And this could be 12 months. So recast a new budget or recast the next 6 months, but you've got to cut your overhead to match these new forecast sales levels. Again, I mentioned before, remove waste. There's a lot of waste in businesses. And so it's a great time to maybe do a waste audit in your business to evaluate where, we can help you with that. We're done many of these, and it's a perfect time to do a waste audit to try and evaluate what costs can be removed. Labour productivity, how productive is labour? People are worrying about their job, guaranteed productivity is going down. So particularly for a manufacturing environment or a site situation, monitoring productivity has been more important than ever. And what constraints have you got? We're already seeing with some of our clients who are highly dependent on imports, their business is going to be restricted by what stocks they can get. So if they can't get stocks, you can't get sales. So you have what's called a capacity constraint. So one thing in this environment, I don't think there's going to be a constraint around getting labour. So, but what is your capacity constraint? And then be conservative in your projections. It's always better to overachieve your projections than to continually have to revise and burn cash in the process. Plan. You've got to plan your way in these situations, and you've got to plan your way out. So I'm encouraging people, yes, you're dealing with the crisis on a daily basis, but spend time planning, being aware of what's going on. Financial projections, cash flow forecasts, which we've already talked about. What if analysis? What if you have a lockdown? What if this goes 12, 18 months? And another name for it, scenario planning. Okay, and in some cases, plan developing according to a disaster. What if the worst case scenario happened? What would we do? What would it look like? It's called disaster planning, and there is a tool at Mindshop. If you need help with that, just let us know. But also to look at strategies around not only just addressing the risk, but also the opportunities. There is going to be major opportunities there for people to come out of this the other side. So I implore you, look at like a pair of scales. It's managing your risk on one side of the scales, but on the other is huge opportunities. Keep your eyes open, look from there. And I'm really loving even some of the more conservative clients are now starting to see, wow, there's an opportunity for me, how I can come out the other side. And I'm loving it. Yeah, Javin and I are working with people to make sure they make the hard decisions, but equally to want to get on with them in a strategy sense, you're going, what are the opportunities that come out the other side? So again, when you know your strategies and your plans, communicate them to your people. They've got every right to know. And not only that, it's good news. If you've got some good opportunities coming in the pipeline or things you're going to do to capitalize on this, tell your people. So spend time thinking, planning, and acting. So again, we're running some themes through today for you. Is again what we're talking about is be on the offense, not defense for business. So in other words, don't just sit back and say, look at the sales drop. It's what could we do to stop them dropping? Could we do to grow sales? Is it proactive action for sales continuity? Follow up the leads you haven't followed up before. Look for opportunities. Develop tactical sales plans. So all your key salespeople are working on crisis tactical sales plans. So they're out there doing stuff, and they're out on the road with the customers, talking to customers. But this environment, that's probably not going to happen. So what they're going to do, might have to do, replace it with Zoom meetings. But be proactive. Ring a customer and say, hey, let's schedule next Wednesday a Zoom meeting to see how we can help you, what's going on. Start with an opening question. Is there any way we can help you? So it is an opportunity. Find out about your customers and ask questions and things that you haven't before. Look for market opportunities over there. If you ask questions of your customers, in other words, how can we help you, or do they have problems that they need to be solved, it might provide an opportunity for you. And again, summation, proactive, not reacting. It's time for everybody to step up to be proactive. And that's it, not just you. It's how you then instill that attitude amongst your people. Lead by example. Get ready for the uplift in the market demand. My view, when it bounces back, it'll bounce back hard. This will end. We're already seeing what situation China, the epicenter of the virus, has now been moved to Italy and not to China. So it's already in that time frame, it's totally changed environment. So this will end, and things will turn around quickly because the demand hasn't slowed up because of any recession characteristic. That pent-up demand, buildings that still need to be built, people still need to be serviced. I think it'll turn around and bounce back quick, but be ready for it. Plan your way out of what does it mean? Where's the opportunity for it to bounce back? If you've got stocks, for example, that your opposition don't, you could get business you didn't have before. So think about it. All sorts of opportunities will come in. And believe me, many of your opposition will be weakened dramatically and will be in ostrich crisis mode. So for me, again, it's not all about doom and gloom. It's how we come out the other side in the balance of the scales, as I talked about right at the beginning. Plan for the downturn, but also plan for the uplift. Good companies will come back stronger and more profitable ever. No doubt about that. So companies at the moment might stop buying stocks, but the proactive companies will go, you know what? I'm going to stock up. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to stock up the stuff. So when demand comes back, is that we're the ones with the stock and get the business. And you can get, not only business, you can get customers that you didn't have before, that because their regular suppliers weren't proactive like you were. Another important one for us is seek help advice. I think as Australians, we don't ask everybody enough as, are you okay? I think we've got an Aussie attitude is that, she'll be right, mate. She'll be right. I know what I do. I just got to work harder. I just got to harden up. Well, you know what? It's not. If you're not okay, that's okay. That is okay. I think it's a great mantra there, and that don't hesitate to just pick up the phone, like with Profit HQ to Jav or myself, and just say, look, I'm struggling a bit of stuff here. I'm not sure what to do, or I don't know how to do it. So please, these fundamental questions. If you don't know what to do, if you don't know how to do it, if you're unsure, or you need reassurance, or you're not okay, just pick up the phone. It's all it takes. And just remember, seeking help is a sign of strength and good leadership. It's not a weakness. And before we go on what help we can provide, is that we've got some help from another amazing Mind Shop member in Mike Boyle, who is Mind Shop's leading world guru on sales, and Mike's also does a lot of his work, uses the Shackleton's material. So we've got a really good article. Shackleton got through. If you don't know the Shackleton story, Google it and have a look. But Shackleton was one of the most amazing survival stories, and he got how to get through is fundamental to core as his leadership. So we have an article there on Shackleton's leadership strategies. So if you like that as another support material, please contact and we all thank Mike Boyle for that. And we did a live webinar the other day, and Mike came on board and talked through with it. That was fantastic. So we've got that for you. So please contact us. So how can we help you? Just mentoring advice, pick up the phone, have a chat to me. My phone's running hot most days now. You know what? No drama. I'm taking calls from early in the morning to late at night. Just have someone to talk to. Scenario planning, disaster planning, strategic plan. We talked about plan your way out of it. This is a big one for me. We're gonna schedule some Zoom meetings with most of our clients to look at some strategies to come through this and help to make sure you're on top of the strategies you need to. Again, tactical sales plans and also waste audits. We'd be happy to look at doing a waste audit with you in terms of identifying areas we could cut costs that you might be looking at the moment. So again, there's lots of ways we can help you, but we can't help you unless you pick up the phone and say, hey, we have a chat. I think I might need a bit of help. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you found this being really useful to you. Please, and here's our contact details there. So call me or call Jav or Renee, which is our team, or we've got an email address there, or have a look at our website. But best thing is to do, what can I advise to you? Pick up the phone for a chat. 5 or 10 minutes can make the world of difference. Good luck on your journey, and be positive. Yes, make the hard decisions. And once you've made the hard decisions, focus on looking at the opportunities on the upside, the other side of it. So thank you very much.